Te Radhanath Swaminiti Namini Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurumilitam Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandegam Sri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarvyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Chapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Isvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Hare Krishna. By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, we have completed 48 slokas in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So that is Viswarupa. So in the Viswarupa, so Krishna is talking actually what we are studying right now. Because Arjuna's asked Krishna to show his Devarupam with four-handed Vishnu form, Chaturbhujena, and also of course Krishna's original form. So that is the Adi Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself, his form. So after seeing the universal form, Arjuna got disturbed because of the form is not very pleasing to see, the universal form. Many times the devotees ask the question that who else other than Arjuna saw the universal form, like that we get the question. In fact, this question itself is not very much needed for us. It's not going to solve any purpose because we understand about Krishna's universal form in this chapter, in the 11th chapter, very well. And we also understand that it's not really a very pleasing form to see. As time, because time destroys everything. So Krishna is the time. So he was showing his universal form, and he told Arjuna that I am the time, the great destroyer of this world. I am repeating this sloka almost every day. Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravriddho. So that way, we need to understand that everything in this world changes. Nothing stays the same. Everything. So our body, it got produced at the time of birth. So we got delivered in this world. So starting from the mother's womb. So our body got developed there. Like it is like you are developing, you are manufacturing some car or something in the industries, and they are in the production line, and it comes and it gets delivered, correct? So like that our body is also produced. So it's like a machine, it's produced in the mother's womb, and then it gets delivered. So that's what we say, that delivery. So when it gets delivered, so when our body gets delivered in this world, so we are inside this body, so we are struggling, we are suffering, and everything in this world, the time is always running, but the time is Krishna himself. So the time is eternal. So Krishna is the time. And for us, we can only talk our lifetime, only we are able to talk about this century here, like this century, that century, all such things. But we can talk our lifetime only in terms of decades. So it all depends upon how many decades we are going to live. It all depends upon Krishna's arrangement and our past activities. There are so many things. But the important point here is that we are going to live here only for certain decades. That's it. That we don't know. So it really doesn't matter if a person can live up to 8 or 9 decades, or if a person lives up to 5 or 6 decades, or even 3 or 4 decades. But if we talk in terms of decades, it's only 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's it. So if a person lives for 10 decades, so it's almost 100 years old. So it's all matter of time. And the time we saw 2000 when it came. So the last like century itself got over. So 2000 when it came. So then now already 20 years have gone by just like that. So now 2010 came. Now 2020. Just now we like 2 months ago we crossed 2020. So 2030 will come. 2040 will come. 2050 will come. But the problem is that we won't be here when the age goes by, when the time goes by. So Krishna is very clearly saying in Bhagavad Gita, I am the time, the destroyer of this world. So that way, we should be longing to see Krishna's original form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, see Krishna, his beautiful form. So in Goloka, we should go to Goloka. We should get out of this material world. So this universal form, what we are talking about in this 11th chapter, the universal form, it's mainly related to this material world. So Krishna is pervading this material universe with his universal form. So for us, we need to get out of this material world, realizing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there is no point in ourselves keep coming back to this temporary miserable world. Because we are not going to gain anything in this world. We are only going to suffer in this world. We are only suffering, struggling. That's what is happening in this world. And especially with so much of attachment to a lot of things in this material world, we are struggling. We have so much of attachment. So we identify ourselves with this body, and then we develop attachment to material sense objects, and then we struggle and suffer in this way. But simply by getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if we develop that attachment to Krishna, if we understand about ourselves, that we are the soul, we are not the body, and if we understand very well that everything in this material world is changing, nothing is same, everything is changing, so everything is matter of time, everything will be finished in this material world. So if we get this knowledge from this Bhagavad Gita, and if we understand that Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darsanam, that birth, old age, disease and death, so they are our real problems. We need to solve those problems. That's very important. Krishna's mercy, we have got this human body, which is a very rare opportunity actually. Now we are able to ask the question that why I am suffering and struggling in this world. We have got that kind of brain to ask such questions because we have got the frontal lobe where it can do all kinds of executive actions. We can think, we can plan, we can ask all such things which other animals cannot do because they miss this kind of brain actually. And because of such brain what we have, we are able to ask, we are able to think. So now we should ask. We should not be like animals. We should really ask what I should do, how to live, how I can get out of this material world. So who am I? All these questions we should ask and make use of this life, make use of this human body and all these opportunities, all the time what we have got in this human life, everything to realize ourselves and go to Krishna as well. We need to go to Krishna as well. That's what is very important. That is our world, Krishna as well. Goloka. We need to free ourselves from the three modes of material nature. That means we should not be attached to anything in this material world. Then only we can free ourselves from the three modes of material nature. So, Prakasaka pravrittimcha mohamevacha pandava nadvesti sampravrittani nanivrittani kankshana udasino vadai eva. So Krishna is saying that we should not be disturbed by anything. When there is light, when there is, one should not hate or one should not desire all such things. So in the 14th chapter, towards the end, when Arjuna asks the question about the symptoms of a person who is freed from the three modes of material nature, Krishna is very, very clearly explaining about all the symptoms. Udasina vadasino gunairyo na vichalyate gunaha vartante ityeva yovastita nenkate. So one should see that only the gunas, only the three modes of material nature are doing everything. We are not doing anything. That's what we need to see. We need to see that. Only the senses are engaged in the sense objects. There is nothing for us to do in that. We are not connected with that. That's how we need to see that. Naiva kinchit karometi. That's what in the 5th chapter we studied. Naiva kinchit karometi yukto manyete tattvavid. Very important, very, very important words. So, yukto manyete tattvavid. When we are engaged in doing all kinds of activities in this world, we should think that manyeta, we should think that naiva kinchit karomiti. I am not doing anything. I am not the doer. That's what we need to think. We need to do. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Pasyan srinvan sparsan jigran asnan gachan swapan swasan pralapan visrajan grannan unmishan nimishan api indriyani indriyartebhya vartanta iti dharayan. So Krishna is teaching us that indriyani indriyartebhya vartanta iti dharayan. So the senses are engaged in the with the sense objects. That's what indriyani indriyartebhya vartanta iti dharya. So that's how we need to see. We are not doing anything. We are not the doer. That's what is very important. We need to understand that we are not the doer. If we think that I am doing it, so then only we are putting ourselves in trouble. We are putting ourselves in problem. So Krishna is very, very clearly saying that we should think that it is only the senses are engaged. So a person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. So that's what we need to think. Naiva kinchit karomiti. We are not doing anything. That's what we need to understand. So he's not doing anything because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and he is aloof from them. Only the material senses are engaged and he is aloof from them. So we are not the doer. So that's why Krishna in the 14th chapter, in the end, when Krishna explains the symptoms of a person who is freed from the modes of nature, he is saying that udasina vadasino gunairyona vichalyate vartante ityeva gunaha vartante ityeva yovastita nengate. So one should be situated neutrally. Udasina vadasina. So gunairyo na vichalyate. One should not be disturbed by the three gunas. That's what gunairyo na vichalyate. Gunaha vartante ityeva. Only the gunas are doing. Only the three modes of material nature are doing everything. We are not doing anything. So that's what gunaha vartante ityeva yovastita nengate. So one should be seated like that without disturb. That's what Gunaha vartante ityeva yo avastita nengate. That's what Krishna is saying. In that status, samadukka sukhaga swastaga samalostrasma kanchanaga tulya priya priyo dhiraga tulya nindatma samstutihi. Samadukka sukha swastaga. So one should be equal in both happiness and distress. Samadukka sukha. Swastaga. Then samalostasma kanchanaga. One should treat gold, stones, pebbles, everything as same. One should not differentiate them. It's just everything is a part of the periodic table. That's it. Whether it's a gold or platinum or anything, it's simply a part of the periodic table. That's how one should see that. So that's what samalostasma kanchanaga. Tulya priya priyo dhiraga. When we are able to be equal, when we are able to see like that everything equally, so then we will also be equal to those whom we like or we don't like. Priya apriyo. So there is nothing like that. A devotee cannot say that I like this person, I hate this person. No, not at all. A devotee likes everyone. So that's what is very important. Then only we can say that we have achieved that status of yoga. So that's what Tulya Priya Priyo Dheras, Tulya Nindatma Samstuti. When somebody is blaspheming us, we should not be disturbed. We should be equal. If somebody is really praising us so much, at that time also we should not be jumping around. We should be equal. That's what Tulya Nindatma Samstuti. Mana Pamanayo Tulyaga Tulyo Mitrari Pakshayo Sarvaramba Parityagi Gunati Taga Sauchyate. Mana Apamano Tulyaga. When there is honor or dishonor, one should treat them equally. That's what Mana Apamano Tulyaga. Tulya Mitrari Pakshayo. Mitra is friend and Ari is enemy. One should be equal to both friends and enemies. That's what Tulya Mitrari Pakshayo. Sarvaramba Parityagi Gunatitaga Sauchyate. So, one who is renounced in all the activities, one who is not attached to the results of any activity. So, Sarvarambaga Parityagi Gunatitaga Sauchyate. He is liberated, he is freed from the gunas, from the three modes of material nature. That's what Gunatitaga Sauchyate. So that's what Krishna is teaching us. It's so very important for us to free ourselves from the three modes of material nature. We need to satisfy all these requirements. It's very easy. We can create a checklist based on all these requirements, and just we can try to check ourselves whether we meet this criteria or not. If we meet them, then we can just put check marks. So that way we can figure it out whether we are freed from the three modes of material nature or not. It's very easy, very simple. Krishna has already listed here. Krishna has given us all the points here, everything. If we meet all these points, if we meet all these requirements, then we can say that we are freed from the modes of nature. That's what is very important. So, but of course, just by studying this Bhagavad Gita, by spreading Krishna's message everywhere, we are going to get all these qualities very easily. It will come to us. We don't have to struggle hard. So that's why it's very, very important for us to study and understand this Bhagavad Gita. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blaspheme, praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friends and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. So that is the point, that is the qualities we need to achieve, to transcend the modes of nature. So in the second chapter, 18 slokas from the sloka number 55 to 46. So in the second chapter, so Krishna has given us the complete knowledge about the Sita Prajna. So we studied about the Sita Prajna very well in the second chapter. So Krishna has taught us what are the qualities of a Sita Prajna. We understood. So that's what we need to understand. So 72. So up to 72 slokas. So from the 55 to 72. So that's what 18 it comes. 18 slokas. We need to understand the qualities of a Sita Prajna. How a person can say that he is a Sita Prajna. So similarly, in the 11th chapter, the slokas Krishna is teaching us in the 22, 23, 24 and all in the 11th chapter about the three modes of material nature. So how one can, in the sloka number 22 to 25. So basically in the 4 slokas. So in the second chapter, in the 18 slokas, Krishna is giving us the qualities of a Sita Prajna. And in the 14th chapter, in the 4 slokas, sloka number 22 to 25, Krishna is giving the qualities of a person who was freed from the three modes of material nature. So like that, even in the 16th chapter also, in the very beginning, Krishna is giving the list of the divine nature. So what are the qualities of a divine person? So that also in the 3 slokas, 1 to 3 slokas, Krishna is giving that Shri Bhagavan Vacha Abhayam Sattva Samsuddhigim samsuddhir jnana yoga vyavastiti danam damascha yajnascha swadhyaya tapa arjavam ahimsa satyam akrodaga tyagaga santirapai sunam दयाभूते सालोलुप्तं माधवं ह्रीरचापलं तेजक्षमधृतिः शौचम् अद्रोहानातिमानिरा भवन्ति सम्पदं देवीम् अभिजातस्य भारता. So Krishna is listing all the qualities of a divine person. So the Supreme Personality of God had said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So that way, we need to create a checklist with all these qualities and just we need to fulfill. We need to fill all these things, satisfy, qualify. So then we will go to Goloka, Krishna's way. So that's what is very important. So in the 11th chapter, in the sloka number 48, what Krishna is continuing, what we studied yesterday, Krishna said that, Na veda yajnadhyayanair na danair na chakriyabir na tapobhirugraihi evam rupaga sakyakam nirloke drashtum tvadanyena kuru pravina. So by no means you can see this universal form which you have seen. That's what Krishna is saying there. Not by merely studying the Vedas or performing the sacrifice or doing the charity or doing other rituals and by severe penances, all those things, severe austerities. So nothing, by no means you can get to see this universal form which you have seen. That's what Krishna says. So now in the sloka what we are studying today, in the sloka number 49 in the 11th chapter, Krishna is continuing. Mate vyatha macha vimuda bhavo drishtva rupam goram idrimamedam vyapeta bhigi prita managa punastvam tadeva me rupam idam prapasya. So Krishna is now telling Arjuna that you don't get disturbed. Ma te vyatha, macha vimuda bhava. So this is bewildering form. By seeing this bewildering form, this universal form, you have been disturbed. So you have been like you are fearing, you have been disturbed. Now you don't fear, don't get disturbed. That's mate vyatha macha vimuda bhavo dishtva rupam goram idrin mamedam. So by seeing this terrible form, goram, horrible form. So that's what goram. Goram mamedam means my. So this my form, this universal form, which is very difficult to see, which is very horrible. So that's what goram. So Krishna has got that goram form also in his universal form, but Krishna is also has got that very, very pleasing form, beautiful form. By seeing the beauty of Krishna, the millions of cupids, Gandharvas, they are getting fainted just by looking at Krishna's beauty. Venum kvanam tam aravinda dalaya taksham barhavatam samasitam bhuta sundarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya visesha shobham govindamadi purusham tamagam bhajami. That's what Krishna's beauty. आलोलचन्द्रकलसद्वनमाल्य वंशी रत्नांगदं प्रणयकेलि कलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभंगललितं नियत प्रकाशं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमगं भजामि. So that's what Krishna's beauty. So Krishna is so beautiful, so wonderful, beautiful. So here Krishna is saying that by seeing this goram rupam, so this rupam goram, this horrible form, So by seeing this, drishva means by seeing this horrible form, mine, mamedam, my horrible form, so you got perturbed, you got disturbed. So don't get bewildered. So don't worry. I will show you, I am showing you my divine form. That's what Krishna is saying, that Vyapeta bigi, just free from the fear. Vyapeta bigi, free from the fear, and Preeta Managa. So get your mind pleased. So don't get disturbed. So get a peaceful mind. So Punastvam again. So again you get your peace of mind back, and don't worry, and don't get free from fear. Don't fear about anything. So like that, Krishna in his universal form is telling Arjuna. So tadeva me rupam idam prapasya. Now you can see the form you want to see. So tadeva me rupam idam prapasya. So that's why Krishna is now started showing his divine form. Because Arjuna asked Krishna to show his four-handed Vishnu form. So Chaturbhujanam. So first Krishna shows the Chaturbhujanam. So then Krishna comes back to his original form. So that's what we are going to study in the next coming slokas. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we are studying. So Krishna is saying that you have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. So be a devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. So that's what Krishna is saying. By Krishna's causeless mercy, we successfully finished sloka number 49 in the 11th chapter, the universal form. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.